the bus ready for game 3. All these options are available for players. If there is a change, it has to happen now. Games 4, 5, and 6 are the clutch portions. This is where you get to have your final test to see, is the end game my problem? Is it my drop? We already know for Armand and Legedian it might be. I actually want to tune in with them and see if they go to the same spot early on in the game. Obviously, we have Calc and Clicks. They played so well in the mid game before.
And this team, man, right now they look good. And it's not one of those things where after heats, they perform so well in them, they go back, and once the grand finals time starts, they don't perform well. This looks really strong out of Clicks and Calc. I'm not sure what's changed for them. I'm not sure if there's an attitude switch or something like that, or maybe just even a change of strategy. Hold on. They're contested this game, Shia. There's a blue arrow looming in the bottom left of that, and Calc is that towards the central. I'm not sure who it is. He's actually going to come back. Here's Avery and has his drop. It's Freight Islands for these two.
Yeah, I mean, I think through scrims they realized the Shark might not be all for what they wanted, especially after the change, the dynamics of the drop. You were alluding to it. Maybe it's not the best thing to land at the nose. Regardless of that, though, this is the game at hand at the moment. Legedi and Armand surviving off spawn, and for round 3 are going bout for bout against T2 and Scoped. They do not care. They want the pride first, then maybe switch off afterwards. But at 0 points, will they stay down here? Legedi already looking to just glide away or possibly reposition down to the reboot van and come in through the main entrance.
Scoped is waiting.
Scoped is there. He might hear it. He doesn't. Armand is still in the fray.
And he does go up in that, so it looks like he was for a second. They might get a good flank here if Legedi has a weapon for...
Yeah, Legedian has that power weapon is there, but I believe Brutus is still alive. These guys have to move fast. Oh my god, the beam from Brutus coming straight through. That's a lot of damage on the Tfue. Scope taking a little bit of it as well. That keycard is hard earned. Now we'll wait and see exactly what happens next. We talked about it a little bit before, absolutely. They finished multiple times Booga and Stretch. This is their redemption story out of the grand finals. This time, finally, in the top 10, we can see their prowess. I think it's because of how their drop is working. For the first time ever, they're not getting griefed. Although contested sometimes, they're in control. And after that, all they have to do is work out the end game and see what happens after that. So we'll see if that redemption arc happens afterwards. Unfortunately, though, a lot of the heals after Tfue got beamed by Brutus are going to have to be used. As the launch pad, though. The vault is open, and I think Legedian and Armand are absolutely gone.
And where do they go from here? The first game to make it out of the grotto, but with what? With what?
Get a nice little fresh update onto Unknown and Ronaldo. And now, man, I don't like seeing this POV because this always happens. We tune in, they're happy and healthy. Suddenly, after a long time, they either get beamed or just run into issues and they never get to pop up afterwards. I want to see... I miss the old Unknown, straight out of the Slurpee Unknown. That used to push people Unknown. You know what I mean? Like, where did he go? What happened?
Has this desire to come back and actually show that he could play comp Fortnite on a lot of different levels, not just the W key Unknown. As they get pressured off the backside of Slurpee Swamps, typically they actually have a little bit more control than this. Obviously this is quite a ways into the game, so they can give up what they can. Here's Edge incented, rotating in that direction. One thing to note for that team, Unknown and Ronaldo, is that they can move, or the first zone is heavily favoring them, but also other teams to note is Dubs and Mega up at the rig.
That Vivid Nano fight pretty much being split right now. Some more east and west tension is scented an edgy wait out. And oh my god, the fight's not over. Legetian already getting beamed. Armand getting the back end of Tifu's minigun. And his bullets are almost gone, but I believe that Scoped might give him a refresh. There are 72 more. And these guys are for some reason still in the Lagoon of Grotto. Trapped now, have to run away. And we saw how Tifu was with fights in the mid game. If it's their POI, he's not letting up, and he's already in the lead. This is just pure grief fest.
Yeah, and I have to wonder whether this is worth it for Scope to Tifu. I mean, yes, you dominated them in the first section of these first two games, but things are different. You have the loot. Is this... I don't know. This could be either a play for a free couple of eliminations, if they really are that aggressive, and it is going to be that way. Scope sneaks in an RPG from the thinnest of cracks, while Tifu is going for that big flank that you saw Legetian actually set up for earlier, and Scope just continues to pressure on, and Tifu's going to get that back angle, an easy wrap. And Legetian and Armand, they're done. This is it. If they come back here, I have no clue what they're thinking at this point, because that was masterful from both Scope and Tifu, even though I was questioning the incentive of staying here and fighting this. And yes, look at this. The zone is coming. They do have, obviously, the shoot, but we saw how far it was towards Slurpy Swamps. Yeah. They have to now work somewhere where they might not always be used to working from.
Especially on timing. I mean, you were asking, I don't know what Legetian and Armand are thinking. I 100% know that they're not thinking at all. Like, if it's a game 4 repeat, I don't know, other than like maybe just being fanboys of Tifu giving him free surge, like there's got to be a reason as to why we're not letting this drop go. Maybe, once again, it's because of the success off of Heats. They played so well on height with that minigun. In just 2 games, had so many points above so many other people. Is that exactly what they need? Is it even worth taking that risk, though? Because that's the only person I can think of that might keep them at the grotto.
By the way, it is interesting to note that they actually have all of their points right now from Legetian and Armand +1. Or did they even get a reboot, Elim? No, I think they traded Kanata, if I remember correctly. So 6 out of 7 of their points from Legetian and Armand. Which is why they had that week 4 performance, by the way, with all that contestation. They got up to 20 points in top 20 by just eliminations.
Maybe that's why they just like that fight off spawn. Everyone always argues, and we have the stats to show that like being uncontested is usually better, but there's some duos, right? If it's better a certain percentage of the time, that off percentage chance are these people like Tifu and Scoped who like those off spawn fights. Like Unknown Ronaldo, who also usually prefer, heard Ronaldo saying that it's free surge if you're getting contested at Slurpee. And usually, even if you lose health, even if one duo gets knocked down, there's so much available at Slurpee. There's a reboot as well. Everything gets A-OK.
Acorn Jack looked like they might fight a little bit, but I don't even think they traded damage there, opting to back down and get back to farming. But this is what I was saying. And also concerned for these two duos is, did they even find any picks, any tags outside? There's a lot of teams moving in, but so much time going to be spent farming. Acorn and Jack did not have a massive performance in game 1, but 11 points to back it up after falling off of the cigar and Slurpee from the hands of AV. Where's that duo as well is a good question.
I want fast updates on every single person we possibly can. Right now, Nosh, Chaotic, Tragic's, Pokes, Clicks, Calc, all in the same boat, and Chaotic is going to be the one now left to high water. No shields, just beamed out on health. Hopefully has a med kit. Because just having 70 HP with someone with the accuracy of Clicks, it's not going to be possible for anything. Right now, a little bit of a stalemate as shots get fired into the bush from a fast edit from Tragic's. Picks up Clicks off the back. These guys move straight out, want nothing to do with this fight at the crack house.
Thought they might stay a little longer to see how they were faring on Surge, which is gonna pop off the notifications in a second here. Clicks and Calc have done so well so far with 21 points, but they've got to make their way across the waters of the agency, and that might be a difficult one. They're going to actually loop their way into old builds back over to the side instead of trying to swim across, as Tristan Hip and Class are clearly paying close attention to them.
We alluded to it before when it came to the brothers at the top. These guys have never seen each other before in terms of the qualification heats. Now it's time for the rivalry to start in the grand finals, at least for this season.
Calc obviously did well in both FNCS seasons and in squad when they were both in the grand finals together. Calc got to second place. Avery did play well though, if you remember that entire squad. Now the question is, when it's duos and when they're both at the top of the leaderboards after game 2, how does that actually unfold? I was just impressed that there was 2 brothers at the top of the leaderboard. I didn't even really think about how that's going to be when they end up really dueling for the top spots. I'm not sure if that's how it's going to end at the end of the day, if one of these teams falls off, but from what I've seen, I highly, highly doubt that. Here's Unknown, and Ronaldo still following a team, but he gets beamed for Surge and doesn't even really care. Just continues to follow, because if he did do anything, if he built, he would have given up his position. And it looks like that team was very, very well aware.
Going to be taking a lot of wood to actually get this done, but in Weeping Woods, everything should be fine.
Has, obviously, not Avery. I'm an idiot.
We're good, man. Sometimes people play together so much and have such similar play styles that you associate them. You can just, you know, switch their names back and forth. I think Blake and Assault are getting to that point. Here's Avery and Haz, we were talking about before.
Now to fight on the other side as Tifu picks up another one onto Tristan Hip, which we saw moments ago at the agency. Zayt looming in the distance. This fight's continuing. Unknown as well in his own. And a big shot to start things off. Where's Ronaldo? He's actually right on the box of Edgy. I believe, and scented. No, this is Preen. Or Preen. I don't know why for some reason we could see the nameplates in the distance, but not the player that he's fighting. That scared me for a second, because that was a very, very important fight. Same with, actually, still with Preen and Spiro, who are in the leaderboards. They were in the top 10 to start things off. I'm not sure if they maintain that throughout the second game, but they clean it up. They get the finish, they get the loot, and they get the spoils. Now moving through Weeping Woods. And we've seen this story before. Unknown Ronaldo ended up falling in heats in a similar position, but only after having one of the most difficult rotations out of anything. They're activated, child. They're pushing everything, it feels like. Even if there's trees in the way, he does not care. Right on tops. This must be Spiro that he's pushing. Is he gonna take the wall? Yes, I believe he does, but the flubbed edit, he gets the cone too, but right on top of him. It trades out though, so all good. As it was Spiro who got it, he just needs to not get finished. Ronaldo needs to box him up instantly. The backside is not covered, and if that team that was shooting them down is going to join the fray, this could be interesting, but no, it's fine. Unknown gets picked back up.
I don't think that dropping that big power spot just to come down for a few eliminations right now is the best, especially in Weeping Woods, where if you're on height, you're kind of separated in the upper echelon compared to everyone else. The trees kind of just makes it so that there's a low ground portion that can never see the high ground. Right now, Nano and Vivid are part of that low ground, walking in straight into unknown sight lines. Recently knocked, frustrated that he didn't win that last fight, might just jump at the chance for another to try to redeem himself.
Chap and AV still alive and well. At the bottom of one of these lodges reminiscent of Wailing Woods, where Chap has now come a long way in terms of his drop spots. So many different places, actually, for everybody in the lobby. Obviously, Chapter 2 put us all in for a loop, but Chap specifically, from whaling to really not knowing where the heck to drop in Season 8 to World Cup, and how he landed in Paradise for a bit, and then switching. I mean, he's just been through the ringer of switched up drop spots. So it's interesting to see him in a basement again of a lodge in the woods.
In endgame, though, you can never really tell where you are on the map immediately. It just comes down to, is there a hill in front of me? Are we in the water? Until you're actually inside Lazy Lake or Misty Meadows, you recognize the buildings. It gets so much more serious, so much more close and action-packed box to box. Session Booga, once again, this is their moment and their time to solidify possibly the first place in a long time.
We do remember the Trios Cash Cups and stuff like that, the multiple day cups that Booga was there for, but that's definitely a throwback for Booga. Haven't done anything in terms of the major competitions since that fateful day all the way back. Now Dubs, the classic. Dubs and Mega double heavy snipe from down below. He's going to break the stairs first to make this really impactful. And here it is, the drop down. It's going to happen in a couple seconds. Assault, is he ready for this? Is he paying attention? They leave it for now, and now they're going to come back. A little bit of bait for Assault to see if he'll bite, and he doesn't, I think. I think they know quite well that he's holding. They're going to wait till he shoots. That's the goal. Here's the cone. Double heavy snipe. And he's way up there, so that's not going to be a possibility.
Yet, because last time we saw this happen 3 times with Kaz and Crims, and although Blake and Assault, different monsters in their own, might fall to the same trap set up by Dubs and Mega. They're going right back for it. It's Fatch that comes in and actually bases up the spot they were baiting, so those are some monsters set free and still allowed to play the rest of the game. Clicks and Calc. Calc with less HP. These guys don't have shields, have Sinnohs in their inventory. And he goes down. Calc now left by himself. No healing items. Has a harpoon. Can grab what Clicks had, but it might not be enough for the rest of the game.
Definitely won't. And that harpoon is not working whatsoever. He's not able to grab this brick. He's trying his best, but Scoped is there to finally overtake it. And he needed that. He only has 30 builds. It's all metal, so that's a sigh of relief. But, man, that is a frustrating thing to see for Calc. As Scoped and Tifu set up, they've actually got double heavy snipes. They're going to try for it, but young Calc rotates the stairs. Is that enough, though, as we wait? He is going to back way away and have to spend a lot of this material. He's done for it. At the top of the leaderboards is probably not going to hold on. Chap and AV in a fight against Acorn and Jack, and again, AV goes down, but they're not actually pushing this. You might be able to.
They're below
bring
Storm
this back.
Surge.
They are below Storm Surge. This is why they're pushing this fight. And it's not going to hold on against Jack and Acorn. Chap has no chance. And they're out again before placements.
It's probably something they barely had to worry about, especially in these grand finals with these many names coming out of the grotto, being able to be on retail row hill if they're not, you know, off spawn fighting with a double elimination for the Storm Surge. They at least get to have picks on the whole map. If you come from a different direction, the game just changes entirely. If you have to rotate through Weeping Woods, that's so different than coming off of a hill from grotto, so different from coming from, you know, a place you can glide from. That's not a possibility from here.
Mega's still in this game. Assault and Blake as well, who've got 7. Scoped and Tifu on the backside of this. They still have to rotate a little bit in. And on the side of them is Alleged and P-God as Stretch picks that guy off from range. Assault's going to finish that off for a little bit of Surge too. Where is the teams that are a threat in this game? Who's on high grounds? I'd love to know at this stage, Kaz and Krim still in the distance. On the left side of this. Sifu and Scope do make it in though.
They have a chance. But Scoped, low on shields, actually pops up, so they do have minis. Assault running out of AR. Blake might have to give all of it over, but I believe he already dropped his assault rifle. Shark and Knight out of position to have height, as well as Nano and Vivid. Kaz and Crims finally are together, not damaged and not disturbed in their own box. Look at this huge. I was going to think that the Porta Fortress was removed, but base.
Knight and Rogue Shark doing the Verox and Mexi, and it's working. And this huge base makes it actually two things. It makes it harder for teams to decide how to push this, but it also gives way more opportunities for people to land on and also sneak attack. If that wasn't going to happen, Knight was going to take out Pokes from the sky. Get the finish too. He's lurking behind, making sure that nobody is holding Stretch and Booga. They love to take height late from in the backside of this 5th zone. There was a possibility for a time being. Mega and Dubs again are challenging them. And it's going to work out. A couple tags onto Mega, but it's not enough. Booga now left to clutch by himself instead of Stretch. He's in the box with Assault. A big start with the tac shotgun. He has the drum gun too if he wants to follow up, but Assault is not the player you want to be in the box with.
And he goes down, I think, to Blake, actually, who helped out Assault that whole time. Assault gets to live. And because of the fight at height, we get to see these second height squadrons fight against each other undisturbed. Now, finally, when Dubs has control, when Mega is still alive, my question is, did Knight and Shark get to live and give this up, or were they forced off? Knifer and Snaker are going to be alive here as well. We know how sticky these guys can be to height and delay them from getting any other picks, being focused on that duo 24/7. Strobe also trying to find a way to survive, but Tifu and Sculptor here with a lot of ammo into that minigun.
And he is going to heavy snipe in, double time to get themselves away from that zone line and not lose any HP, because that's critical at this stage. Mega still up on high. He's only held by 1. He's going to get felt all the way down, I think, but the reconnect is possible. No, they still hold. And interesting enough, they had no mat, so how do they play out of this?
And that's an obvious play as well. Now it's going to be a little bit tricky. One deceptive duo still alive right now. Zayt and Saf fully healed in the middle of the whole server on their own lair. Could they peek out at the end and find victory is the question. Finally, AR given down. The strat that Dubs has is getting all the mats onto him as Mega is low. Built out for the duo individually, and then after that, given all the ammo to pressure backwards as well. But it's Knifer and Snaker, the sticky duo, coming all the way in from the back, trying to take height. Dubs doesn't have many mats left for the 180 rotation. Vivid and Nano are peeking their heads right below the dirt, waiting for an opportunity as well. Knifer falls down, low HP. Dubs has a peanut butter edit, but all the way up top of the trees, it's Acorn who waterfalls down with Jock. Somehow these guys have height. I don't know. If you blink, you missed it. They are so good at keeping their strats hidden until the last moment.
That they are, and I can't believe the amount of times we've seen this from Acorn and Jack in the final zone, taking height. Dubs finally falls, and I think right before top 5, or maybe he was just got that top 5. There's 3 duos alive. It's just Visuals who's by himself against Acorn and Jack, Zayt and Saf, and Vivid and Nanolite.
This is a classic historic matchup. Vivid going down to Zayt. We haven't seen that in so long. But afterwards, just before the beam comes in, he gets taken down by Visuals, who gets a bright picture as to how his Zayt's pump looks right in front of his face. Saf now looking forward with many minis, but will have to use the shotgun first to take out Visuals on low and then take over that duo on height. That's a tall order. He gets focused first as Visuals just sits back, relaxes, and waits possibly for one Elim to come through. He gets a shot up top on Acorn. He's barely disturbed. The beam's still coming in. Surprisingly, Visuals is living this entire time, now with threat, but with this much HP left, he goes down to Acorn's shot. A calm finish, a strategic takeover by Acorn and Jack.